Hi, welcome to the Reentry Faith Initiative YouTube channel. I'm Brother Hector, and in this video I want to talk about the third step on how to start a reentry ministry. So the very first step was to pray. The second step was to start inside. And now the third step is to identify needs and identify resources. So basically what this step is really about is to get to know who you're serving, getting to know the people that you want to help. So the best way to learn is to get to know people, talk to people, right? Get to know what challenges these people face, get to know, what obstacles there is. Even though I have lived experience, I'm formerly incarcerated myself. So what I did when I started getting involved with this work was to go to Google, and I just started searching different reentry programs, different challenges, different things that were just helpful to me to understand that even though I didn't face certain things, other people are facing certain things. So I wanted to start understanding a lot more about reentry, the challenges, and also what resources were available. So I started learning that there's a lot of websites, there's a lot of groups already doing a lot of great work. I started understanding that there's a lot of help in my immediate community with people. So as you start getting into this work, you start realizing that it's just not about having been incarcerated. All these problems are social problems that are one on top of the other. It's layers of problems. So incarceration is just what ties everything together, and a common bond between a lot of these issues, because somebody who's drug addicted is most likely going to end up in custody at some point. People with mental health issues also at some point are probably going to be incarcerated. People that are homeless are probably at some point going to be incarcerated. People with just domestic violence issues, people with just all kinds of anger problems and all kinds of issues are probably going to end up being incarcerated. So incarceration ends up being this thing that just goes and ties everything together. But when you start peeling back the layers, you start understanding that there's a lot of issues under that. So there's a lot of reasons why people end up being incarcerated. It could be a substance use problem, or it could just be an anger management problem, and it could be just, somebody got frustrated because they just got evicted, and they just went off and committed a crime. Some people, there's just different reasons, and I could go on and list a bunch of reasons. I've heard people just getting depressed because they just got fired. So they go out and have drinks at a bar and end up hitting somebody with their car on their drive home. So, it just all depends on what happens. So there's different needs for different folks that are incarcerated. So when they come out, they need help in finding what resources they can connect to. Sometimes there's going to be court mandates that they have to fulfill, and sometimes it's just going to be personal things that they have to work on. So, and how does the church step into this, or how does the faith group play a part in all this? Well, a lot of people end up coming to the church because they need to hear a good word. They need to hear encouragement. And a lot of people already know that the best place to go and hear something positive is some sort of church or religious gathering. So they know that. And so a lot of times, even though they're not part of that church, they'll come in and what drives them is that they just want to be in a positive environment. So when they do come in and you're able to identify that they just got out or that they have issues happening, it's a good idea to already know how to address those issues, especially if your church or your congregation doesn't have the capacity to address that need directly. And what I mean by that is, let's say a family comes in, the dad just got out of prison or just got out of jail, and the family comes in on a Wednesday night or a Sunday morning, just to try something new, and you are able to talk with them, and they open up, and you learn that the that the family is in need of groceries. So as a church or as a faith group, it'd be a big blessing to have a place where the family can go and get their basic needs met at the church, at the local facility, at the local church. But so let's say your church doesn't have that available. Do you know of another church or another pastor that does? And so, that's what I mean about starting to learn about what resources are available out there. Being really solution minded and being able to find answers for the people that are coming into your church or your faith group on a Sunday or on a Wednesday is going to be real important, and is real important. In the Contra Costa County where I work, there's a 211 number that people can call, and they can get hooked up with all kinds of resources. So, and I know that each county has something similar. So in your particular county, do you know how to tap into those resources? Do you know, how to find emergency shelter? Do you know how to find emergency transportation? Do you know how to find all these different things that people sometimes need? So I just started learning a bunch of resources, just becoming familiar with what's happening out in the community. I started identifying, how I can tap into certain things, what the referral process was. So it's actually really helpful to, if you're thinking about starting the reentry ministry, is also the other part to this is assigning certain people. Maybe you have an ushering team. So maybe you have a certain minister or a certain person who's really good at connecting with folks, and so maybe you want to assign him to identify the needs of the people that are coming in, and being your resource person. That way, that person can become an expert, and you as a pastor or faith leader, maybe you don't have the time, and that's also normal, right? So identifying a team maybe, or at least one individual in your church or congregation or fellowship where that person can become your point person. So if somebody comes in asking for help paying an electric bill or phone bill, you can say, oh, please go talk to so-and-so. So they're going to help you find a resource. And if they can't, come back to me. But, so there's a lot of resources out here, and I just, I'm a big advocate on becoming experts in resources, because people are looking at us for help. And you might say, well, that's not the church's role. That's not what we're here for. We're here to, save people from hell, and we're here to just, preach a gospel message. We're here for salvation, and that's it. I'd like to, challenge that a little bit with, the scripture itself, when Jesus and his disciples fed the multitudes that were listening to his teachings. Okay, just, and that's something that is really important. He didn't send them away. He sent his disciples to feed them. He sent his disciples to, with baskets of food and all that, to attend to those people. And so I think it's in God's heart for us to also attend to the immediate needs of people, and instead of sending them away, and expecting them to come back on Wednesday or Sunday, without us, really attending to what they need. Because, people do have a spiritual need, but they also have physical needs. So we have to be able to address those also, to some extent. I'm not saying, to go to that extreme, but, at least know where those answers are, at least point the people or connect the people to the right agency or group that can attend to that need. Because that's also another way that we can minister. And so, again, this is step number 3, identifying the needs and the resources. I know it was a little bit longer than the other videos, but it's just, this is where the majority of the content is. So thank you for watching, and stay tuned. Please, share this with anybody who has a need. If you have just gotten out from incarceration and you have questions and you have needs, go ahead and reach out to me, and I'll be happy to get in touch. All right. God bless you. Have a good day.